Hello and welcome to this video, which is going to focus on ion formation in groups 1, 2, 6 and 7. Now this should just be a recap video on how you can actually draw the ionic configuration. So the first thing you need to be able to do is draw the number of electrons in the outer shell. So if it's in group 1, it's got 1, group 2 it's got 2, group 6 it's got 6, and group 7 it's got 7. And then work out whether they want to gain or lose. So groups 1 and 2 want to lose electrons to get a full outer shell, groups 6 and 7 want to gain them. You then need to know how many. So if it's in group 1, it needs to lose 1 to get a full outer shell. Group 2, it needs to lose 2. Group 6, it needs to gain 2 to get 8. And group 7, it needs to gain 1 to get 8. The next thing is your charges. If you are losing a negative electron, it becomes positive. So you lose 1, it becomes plus 1. You lose 2, it becomes plus 2. And then if you gain them, it becomes negative overall. So if you gain 2 negative electrons, you get 2 minus. If you gain 1 negative electron, it becomes 1 minus. Now, an example of this for group 1 is lithium, which becomes Li+, or sodium, which becomes Na+. In group 2, you've got magnesium, which is Mg2+, or calcium, which is Ca2+. In group 6, you've got oxygen, which gains 2 electrons, becomes O2-, and then you've got sulfur, which is S2-, because it's gained 2 electrons. And then fluorine and chlorine, both examples of gaining 1 electron and becoming minus. Okay, let's have a look at a couple of questions then. So we've got 3 questions here, all to do with ion formation. The first one is draw the full electronic configuration of the atom and for the ion of sulfur. Just a bit of recollection of the electronic configuration section. Explain how the ion of sulfur forms and identify the electronic configuration for the sulfur ion and the sulfur atom. Now, bear in mind with question 1 and 3, you've got to include the inner shells, it's not just the outer shells here. Pause the video, have a go, and we'll see how you've done in a minute. Okay, let's have a look and see how you've done. So, if we start off then, and draw the full electronic configuration. So, the periodic table says you've got 16 electrons. So we can put 2 on the very first shell, leaving me with 14. 8 can go on the second shell, and that leaves me with 6 electrons. So by doing that and drawing this, you will get the first one mark out of 2. The ion is the same again. So you need to draw and start off with your 3 shells. You then need to put the same number of electrons that you had on before. Now bear in mind this is a non-metal, so it's going to gain. So 2 in the first, 8 in the second, and then 6 in the outer. And that will give you 16 again. It needs to get a full outer shell, so you add 2 more on. So like I've done here, I've put 2 at the bottom. So your second mark is for having that, which is your correct electronic configuration of your ion. Question 2, which is explain how the ion of sulfur forms. The first mark there is to turn around and say what has actually happened to the atom, which is it's gained 2 electrons. So you get 1 mark for that. And then what is the charge? So it's gained 2 electrons, become S2-. So your second mark is for putting that charge of 2-. And then finally, identify the electronic configuration for the sulfur ion and the atom. What I meant by that was the written electronic configuration, which is 2 in the first shell, 8 in the second shell, and 6 in the third. And then for your ion, it is 2 in the first, 8 in the second, and last but by no means least, 8 in the third, which is your last mark. Okay, hopefully you found that useful and you've picked up everything you need to know. Have a look at the review question and that will end this video, which is to draw the ions for sodium, magnesium, oxygen and chlorine, which are in group 1, 2, 6 and 7 respectively. And when you've done that, state the charge for each and then the number of protons, neutrons and electrons for the ion.